Kia ora and welcome along to the Met Service Severe Weather Update for today, Thursday the 18th of May. Now we've got a few things going on at the moment. The first, an area of low pressure up towards the north. That's set to bring some windy and wet weather towards those northern parts of the country. But we've also got some active weather with us at the moment, with some heavy rainfall pushing in towards those eastern parts of the far southern parts of the South Island. So places like Dunedin and Clutha, still a bit of wet weather as we go through the first part of this afternoon to around about 2 o'clock or so, and still some showers on towards that western coast. So there are still some warnings out through there, but you can see on this satellite picture this cloud out towards the north, a good indication of an area of low pressure set to bring some much windier and wetter weather as we head towards the end of the week. Take a look at the chart, you can see that wet weather down the south island. It starts to ease off as we go through the daytime, while up north it starts to intensify, some stronger winds and some wetter weather as we go through Thursday into Friday. Friday this system moves off pretty quickly, but you can see behind it we've still got a bit of a gap, and then this area of low pressure is just off of the western coast. And that's still going to have some pretty strong winds with it and a fairly showery setup as we head through the weekend. So it's well worth keeping up to date with the forecast. But we are going to find perhaps places like North and Auckland and towards the Bay of Plenty, the windiest time is as we go through the night time Thursday in towards those early hours of Friday morning. But that's just the first bite of things, with more wind set to come back towards us with that area of low pressure. In terms of rainfall, you can see where it's piling up on the South Island and towards Western as we go through daytime today and down towards, like I say, Dunedin. But we're also going to find, as we go through the nighttime Thursday and Friday, that rain piles in on those northerly winds in towards the Bay of Plenty, the Coromandel, Auckland, Northland, and those northern parts of Tairāwhiti, north of say about Tolaga Bay, as we go through in towards Saturday and Sunday. So there is some wetter weather still with us, and like I said, it's going to be accompanied by some pretty brisk winds as well. So there are some severe weather watches and warnings in place across many parts of the country. We'll start off with the ones that are happening at the moment. So down towards Dunedin, we are going to find not a huge amount more rain, 10 to 25 millimetres on top of what we've already seen, but that's with us, and this warning runs through to around about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Heading up the coast, we have another severe weather warning for those parts of western north, or say about Bruce Bay and up towards Aotearoa. We are going to find a bit more rainfall through there, not as much as we've seen yesterday, but 50 to 85 millimetres or so up about the ranges. Could still be one or two rumbles of thunder through there as well, and I think we are going to find just a bit of wetter weather, mainly in that southern parts of Western, and then a watch out there for the northern parts until about 6 o'clock or so this afternoon. We'll zoom back up towards those northern parts of the country. This rain moves in on Thursday, accompanying that those stronger and northeasterly winds, and we have got some watches and warnings for both of those. You can see us move through fairly quickly, very different to what we saw last week, clearing for a time, but then this next area of low pressure comes back in on Saturday, bringing more wet weather. And notice to the north of that, some really strong westerly winds for northern and perhaps even towards Auckland as well. Gusts perhaps around 90 kilometres an hour, not out of the question. So I think it's worth bearing in mind that with all that wet ground around, all that sodden soil and those stronger winds, it may all cause some issues as we head through the weekend as well. For the time being though, we'll focus on what's coming through tonight and in towards Friday. So we have got watches out for both wind and for that rainfall. For the likes of Northland, it's from 3 o'clock this afternoon on Thursday through to about 6 o'clock on Friday for both of those elements. As we go down towards Auckland, that watch starts a little bit later, but we'll still find it in from place from 9 o'clock or so tonight, right the way through in towards the early part of Thursday. And as we head down towards the Bay of Plenty, again, it's just a little bit later as this front pushes that rain down towards us. But again, overnight Thursday into Friday for the likes of, say, the Coromandel, some heavy rainfall through there, some of those stronger winds as well, gusts perhaps 80, 90 kilometres an hour in those northeasterlies. And for the likes of, say, the Bay of Plenty, that watch is running from the early hours of Friday morning through towards the afternoon, 3 p.m. or so there, again, for both the wind and the rainfall, so keep an eye on both of those. As we head across towards the eastern coast, we have got that warning for heavy rainfall for the likes of, say, those Gisborne areas north of Tolaga Bay, so up in those northern parts of Tairāwhiti, and we're looking at that from about 7 o'clock or so in the morning on Friday, right the way through towards the end of the day, and rainfall totals 50 to about 90 millimetres of rain. Most of it about the ranges, but I think we are still going to find some wet weather down towards the coast as well, and some stronger winds to watch out for too. So a fairly windy and wet story across those northern parts. Like I say, the windiest and wettest time, it looks to be overnight from the likes of, say, Northland and Auckland, and as we go through towards Friday for the Bay of Plenty. But do keep an eye on the forecast. We are looking at more winds to come back towards us through Saturday. The other spot set to find some wet weather will be those northern and western parts of the Nelson Tasman area. Again, another 100 to 150 millimetres of rainfall not out of the question there. And I think it's worth saying that these areas have already seen a fair amount of wet weather. So this is more rain piling up on top of that. And this warning runs right the way from Friday in towards Saturday. So quite a prolonged period there. And we have also got a watch out on the other side of Nelson City out towards the Richmond and Bryant ranges, but for most of the day on Friday, 3 a.m. to about 3 p.m. as well. So do keep an eye on those forecasts. And I think we are going to find some wet weather with us even through in towards the weekend as well. As we go through the weekend, this low pressure moves across. As I say, we've got some stronger winds to watch out for, especially across those northern parts of the country. And the strong westerlies, even gale force westerlies across parts of Northland and Auckland, does eventually pull away. We're left with this fairly cool southwesterly feeder air across us as we go through towards the rest of the weekend. Continues to bring some more showers across us, but hopefully the wind's easing off by Sunday. But like I say, pretty unsettled end to the week. So please do keep up to date with the latest forecasts, watches, and those severe weather warnings. And as always, you can find all of that information at metservice.com.